Hi guys, I hope you are doing well, and in this tutorial I am going to explain you what is LangSmith and why we use LangSmith, why it is important. Okay, so LangSmith, first of all, LangSmith, it is a platform by LangChain, and this platform is being used to trace the agents that we create using LangGraph. Now, what is LangGraph? LangGraph is another framework by LangChain that we use to create agents, multi-agents, and multiple supervisor based agents, like one supervisor agent with multi sub agents, deep agents, that is being developed using LangGraph and creating context engineering pipelines. So the thing that we create agents, we create rake pipelines for the context, but how to evaluate those agents and our prompts, our rake pipelines, our context pipelines, that they are performing well, or they are providing us better output, or the agents are able to get better context to provide or craft better output, and also our prompts are performing better or not. So for all of these kind of things, we use LangSmith, and because of this, LangSmith is important for the agents evaluation and monitoring and tracing, and also evaluating our prompts. So I will start from, so in sidebar there are multiple things like tracing projects, monitoring data sets and experiments, annotation queues, prompts, playground, studio, deployment. So if I come over here in tracing, and what is tracing? Inside tracing, we can basically trace our agents. Whenever we will create a thread and we will start communication, we will start asking questions from our context, or we start query our agent, then all of the queries will be traced or tracked here by LangSmith. And how it will be integrated, you will just need to get API key from here, from LangSmith, and once you will create API key, and you will need to just let's suppose I will use any workspace you can select, and then you will create an API key. Once API key will be created, they will provide you a documentation to integrate it. These are 2 lines documentation to integrate it into your agentic system. So yeah, I will create a separate course to do this all, but now I am going to focus on what is LangSmith. So first thing, you can trace your agents. You can see the runs, like you can see our agent, this run has an error, and this error is basically you exceed your current quota, means the OpenAI API key that we are using, it has reached it on its limit, and now we will need to charge, or we will need to pay again to make it working. So you can see these errors, you can evaluate, like you can see this run inside this trace, these are the runs. So this run has took 5.53 seconds, this 5.49, 5.8, this is supervisor LLM call, GPT call, GPT 4.1 are being used. So first thing, you can trace your agents, and you can see inside this trace there are a lot of runs, like search recall, means searching from context, vector store retrieving information from vector, then GPT 4 point use, there is another run which is basically crafting the output, then tool call, Pebble search, online web searching. These are all runs within this specific trace. So you can basically evaluate all the runs that you are doing on UI on LangSmith very easily, and you can see that how it is working in backend or under the hood. Okay, so first thing is this, all the traces will be there. You can see run count, there are total run counts within for this specific project, total cost, and if you will open this, so for this you can also see, if you will click over, let's suppose collapse all or waterfall. Yeah, so yeah, this is metadata, feedback that is being provided, and all of these metadata are there inside this specific trace. Okay, and further for this specific run, you can see latency, token consumption, or cost of API key. So this is the tracing inside LangSmith. So this is tracing, and you can also see all the threads here. Okay, and yeah, there are a lot of things to view, and yeah, so this is overall. So I just open, there are a lot of projects here, so I just open this one, and the stats for this specific project, you can see it has for till now 882 run counts, total tokens for last 7 days, and error rate is 6%, streaming 0, and mid. Yeah, so these traces are for last 7 days, and you can select last 14 days or 30 days. Okay, after that, yeah, there are a lot of projects, but I just showed you that what is tracing the projects. So in monitoring, basically you can monitor your specific project, yeah, like how it is working. Okay, and trace count, okay, per day. Yeah, you can see on this day there were a lot of traces, or this project was being used. And trace latency, okay, trace error rate. On this day there are a lot of error rate, 80% traces have error. Yeah, this is something like during development, LLM calls, LLM latency. Okay, and cost and tokens. On this day there are a lot of cost being consumed, cost per trace. So this inside monitoring, you can basically run count tool, okay, inside agents, the tools that are being called. And after that, I am directly jumping on prompts. Okay, or let's go step by step, and datasets and experiments. So if you want to test your agent, or if you want to evaluate your prompt, you can create reference dataset with input and reference output. Okay, and then you can basically run that reference dataset on your prompt to evaluate your prompt, that how it is working, and then you can again change your prompt or add more details or instructions into your prompt by running that prompt against some reference input and output. Okay, like here, if I come over here in datasets and experiments, basically I have 2 datasets. If I open this prompt nudge evaluation, this dataset I created to evaluate the nudges. If I show you the examples first, so you can see my dataset, it has question, okay, and then it has reference output, and then I run that data. I basically evaluated this dataset on prompt to see how it is giving an actual output and how my prompts are behaving. And I can also show you that evaluations. Let me show this evaluation that I ran to test my prompts. Yeah, you can see this is input and this is reference output, and this is again when I evaluated, it is the output after evaluation. So basically there is an error, but let me show you another one which was basically correct one. Let me deal object evaluation of this one. Yeah, let me show you this. I basically created dataset to evaluate the deal object. So yeah, you can see it has yeah, this was input, reference output, this was the dataset, and then this was the output after evaluating this dataset. So you can see the correctness here it is 0.00, but here it is 1, means the correctness, the output here was correct. And here is also, there is also an issue 0.0, and there is also an issue. You can further hover on it, and it will say what is the things that are being correct or false. Okay, so yeah, you can also create on LangSmith with some data set to evaluate your prompts and agents. And yeah, in here there are a lot of experiments you can create, LLM as judge, and you can then run those. Yeah, if I open this again dataset, you can here create an evaluator. You can use LLM as judge, okay, and you can then evaluate your data. Okay, also after this, let's explore annotation queues. Annotation queues are just nothing but to annotate your traces. Like if you want to annotate any specific trace with some feedback, okay, that is something being used. Like here, if you will come over here, you can add annotation queue, okay, and you can add something. Okay, after that I will move to prompts, which is the main part. So prompts, in prompt hub of LangSmith, you can create your prompts. Okay. Yeah, let's suppose if you are creating multi-agentic system, you can create prompts. Yeah, and you can directly pull these prompts into your code instead of defining or hard coding prompt into your code. You can directly define your prompts here. Let's suppose if I show you this system message, which we have basically defined all of the prompts here, and then we are using this LangSmith SDK code into our code to pull the prompts directly from LangSmith to our code, and our agents are using these prompts. You can create a lot of prompts here, and if you will click on playground, you will be able to edit this prompt. Okay, and you can also, if you want AI to edit this prompt, you can just give here some instructions, and this AI interface or agent will edit your prompt based on your instructions. And you can also create custom instructions like these. I created format the prompt. I created a custom instruction rather than here inputting again and again. I just created one custom instruction, and then I just click on it, and it will start evaluating my prompt, or I mean it will start editing my prompt or doing modification into my prompts. So yeah, this is the prompt hub, which is one of the most important. You can create here your prompts very easily, and you are a chatbot. You can basically either create this is something that is to create a prompt. I guess there were options. Yeah, chat style prompt and instruct style prompt. Whatever you want, you can just create and pull into your code. And then in playground, you can just play around different models, like how these models are behaving or how these models are working, and which model you should use into your agents. Okay, you can also evaluate your prompts in playground. And then in studio, you can basically see the simulation of your agents that you create. Okay, the graph of your agents. If I show you here, and in deployment, you can basically deploy your agents on LangSmith directly. But let me show you what is a studio and how to visualize your graph. Now see here, this is our multi-agentic system. Okay, and here I can see the multi-agentic system, how it is. There is supervisor and then multiple sub-agents, and then there is end node. From start, supervisor, then sub-agents, and then end node. So this is how studio basically works, or give you a simulation of your agents. And you can also directly chat with your agents here. You can open show to tool calls. It will during chat you will be able to see the tool calls like this one. Okay, you can also test your agents on LangSmith also. Okay, so this is deployment, where you can basically create your deployments and deploy your agents directly from GitHub. Like we have deployed our agents from GitHub repository directly here, and then we are using these into our front end. Okay, and there is something agent new feature, which is agent builder. Okay, it is still in wait list. You can apply for this on here, and then you might get an access. So this is all about LangSmith, and it is one of the top platform for evaluation and to monitor your agents, to create data set and experiments, to define your prompts, to deploy your agents. Okay, so I would suggest, if you are playing or if you are basically making your hands dirty with agents, you should use this platform to evaluate your agents, that how these agents are working. Okay, and how your prompts are performing. So the most recommended tool will be the LangSmith. There are other tools, Regas, Deepevel, Etla, PostHog, but I would recommend you this, and I have almost 2 years of experience on LangSmith. So further I will create a detailed course, and in which I will define each feature of LangSmith in detail, and we will create 10 to 15 tutorials, and then you guys will be able to understand this platform more easily. For now, this was just overview what is LangSmith and why it is important. Thank you.